darkness. We're here to find answers. What spirits lie beyond? What caused their passing? The truth lies beyond, and we are here to find those answers. We are Pensacola Paranormal Research Group. Come with us.
Hello and welcome back to Did You Hear That? Episode 11. This is the Old Sacred Heart Hospital. A hospital is a place of extreme, the moment of birth, the moment of death, and the desperate raw fight for everything in between. When a building is consecrated to both healing and heartbreak for 50 years, those moments just don't fade away. They linger. Welcome back. Today we move from the isolated coast to the heart of the East Hill neighborhood to explore the building known as Tower East, but which many locals remember as the Old Sacred Heart Hospital. This magnificent Gothic revival structure opened its doors in 1915, managed by the devout Daughters of Charity. It was the first comprehensive medical facility in the region, a beacon of hope, and the final destination for thousands. We'll explore the haunted hallways where a ghostly nurse still does her rounds, the upper floors where patients never checked out, and the infamous basement, now Ozone Pizza Pub, where the morgue once stood. Get ready for a diagnosis of the paranormal. The history of this building is one of profound charity. Before 1915, Pensacola had no major hospital. Seriously ill patients had to travel to New Orleans. The local community rallied, and with an investment from the Daughters of Charity, they built the Pensacola Hospital, later renamed Sacred Heart. It was a magnificent late Gothic revival structure designed by A.O. Van Herbels. The Daughters of Charity were an order known for selfless care, even providing a dedicated wing for the Creole and colored populations, a rarity for the time. But even the depths of fate couldn't stop tragedy. For 50 years, from 1915 until the hospital moved in 1965, these walls absorbed the fear of the Spanish flu epidemic, the strain of 2 world wars, and the daily grind of life and death. Think about the intense emotional energy in a hospital. Every floor held life or death. The maternity ward, the operating rooms, the isolation rooms, and of course, the trauma that flowed through the doors 24/7. When the hospital moved out in 1965, the building was largely vacated, save for a brief stint as a private school. Decades of silence allowed that emotional residue to settle and strengthen. Today, the building is on the National Register of Historic Places and is a private commercial building called Tower East. It houses small businesses and a couple of popular restaurants on the lower floors, but workers and visitors quickly discovered that while their tenants changed, the residents, the spectral ones, never did. Let's take a look at the hauntings of the Old Sacred Heart Hospital. One of the most frequent reported apparitions is a ghostly woman in a nurse's uniform, or sometimes the habit of the Daughters of Charity. She seems to be perpetually on duty, roaming the old wards. There's a specific hallway where the nuns would cross to go to the chapel. Many report feeling a presence there, the kind, old spirit of one of the sisters. The most famous reports involve a sudden, gentle tap on the shoulder, exactly what a nun or a nurse might do to get a distracted colleague's attention. She doesn't scare people. She's just making sure that you're being attentive. A worker in the building once reported being alone in a corridor late one night. He was bent over, struggling to carry a heavy box, when he felt a distant, firm push on his back, as if someone was helping him steady the weight. When he quickly spun around to thank the person, the long hallway was empty. The consensus? It was a sister of charity, still living up to her vows of service. The upper floors, particularly the fourth and fifth, were largely dedicated to patient rooms and surgical areas. These floors are mostly unused today and are the source for most of the unsettling activity. People who work in the offices on the lower floors, or even maintenance staff, report the sound of cranking gurneys being wheeled down the silent corridors. Even though those floors are bare, there are stories of patient apparitions, shadowy figures glimpsed in doorways that quickly vanish. But the spirits of those who died on the operating table, or during the desperate days of the Spanish flu. The feeling is one of residual suffering, a perpetual replay of the hospital's trauma. The old morgue, or ozone pizza. This is perhaps the creepiest detail of the entire building. The basement of the old hospital, which now houses a popular pizza spot called Ozone Pizza Pub, is widely believed to have once contained the hospital's morgue and possibly even the crematorium. Imagine having a slice of pepperoni and a pint in a room that saw hundreds of bodies pass through it. The restaurant staff and even patrons report a heavy, oppressively energy down there. In the darker back areas near the storage and bathrooms, the parts furthest from the kitchen, people report sudden dramatic temperature drops, the smell of formaldehyde, and the unsettling sensation of being watched. One review of the pizza pub online noted, "The trip to the bathroom will make you believe all the rumors in this building being haunted. Not exactly 5-star review, but for a haunted location, it's high praise. The energy down there feels grounded, heavy, and very, very old." Let's take a look at some local lore. So while the old Sacred Heart Hospital hasn't had major televised investigations like the Lighthouse, the stories come from people who spend every day there, the tenants, the restaurant workers, and maintenance staff. From a former security guard, states that the nights were the worst. He'd be checking fire alarms on the 4th floor, and he'd hear things from the 5th floor, footsteps, slow and dragging, like someone was trying to pull themselves across the floor. Once he saw a light on the floor that was completely gutted and had no power lines running to it. When he got the key and climbed up, the light was gone, but the room was freezing, and the scent of the old hospital disinfectant was overwhelming. He quit a month later. You just can't be rational about these kinds of cold terror. The most frequent accounts relate to objects moving on their own. In one of the office suites, a manager returned in the morning to find a framed picture of the building's original architect, Van Herbelis, turned facing the wall. She reset it, but the next morning, It was again turned. It's a low-level, persistent haunting, almost like a grumpy former patient or a staff member is just slightly annoyed at the new business happenings in their internal home. The old Sacred Heart Hospital stands as a majestic yet haunting testament to Pensacola's compassion and its inevitable tragedies. It reminds us that the places dedicated to the extreme human emotions never truly empty out. It's a beautiful Gothic landmark that hides a lifetime of suffering behind its stone facade. The hospital closed its doors to patients in 1965, but the staff and patients are very much active here. So the next time you're in East Hill, take a look at Tower East building. If you go for a pizza in the basement, just remember, you're eating where the cold storage once was. And if you feel a little gentle tap on your shoulder, don't worry. It's probably just a kind sister of charity checking your vital signs. Next week, we're going to check out another haunted location. This time, we're going to go up to Tennessee and check out Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Thank you for joining us tonight on Did You Hear That? We'll see you back for another episode.